Should I get married? It's a very good question. Very few people actually think about should I get married. The most people who think about this, most people don't think at all, but those who think about it go to the next step. They jump to the next step and say, what kind of person should I get married to? That is a question very commonly asked in forums such as this. So first question before who I should marry is, should I marry? And this is an important question I should ask myself, because I can make myself as well as my partner quite miserable if I'm a marrying type and I don't marry, or if I am not a marrying type and I do marry, and lots of confusion can be created out of this. So how would one know? Each one has to, of course, find out for themselves. They have to analyze themselves and find out, excuse me, and decide for themselves whether they wish to get married or they don't wish to get married. But here are 6 pointers for us to do that analysis. So the first question we need to ask ourselves in this decision of whether to marry or not is about companionship. How much companionship do I require? A marrying type of person requires a lot of companionship. He needs somebody around all the time. And this is a very important facet of marriage, that the need for companionship is very strong. If you are very self-sufficient, then maybe marriage is not for you. In fact, marriage is not for you, because you could make your partner very uncomfortable because you don't want companionship and the partner may want it. So the first thing you need to analyze about yourself is your companionship needs. Do you have them, and how much? The second thing, pointer in marriage, is progeny, children. A marrying type definitely wants children. They want to have children, and one of the strongest needs of marriage is children. To have your own children. Your brother's children are not sufficient to love, the neighbor's children are not sufficient to love, I must have my own child. So this is the second aspect of marriage, progeny. The third reason why people get married is sex. Now, in this matter of sex, you have to be a bit careful, because there are some people who have very low desire for physical intimacy. Such people ought not to get married. Then there are people who are kind of passive in their approach to sex, meaning that when there's a conducive environment, then they would have it. And then there are some people who require it at regular frequencies. These people can also get married. And then some people are there who have a very high need for sex. Higher, when I say high, of course, I mean higher than the general average. They may need multiple partners, or various very high frequency, or a very strong and high need. Marriage is contraindicated for these people who have a very, very high need for marriage, because their partner may not be able to take all their amorous activities. So they may not appreciate the partner going elsewhere or whatever. It's difficult. And the fourth reason for marriage is possessiveness. This is also another strong reason that people get married. It's just as simple to stay together, or just as simple to have a partner, but people would like to have that possessiveness. This is my husband, this is my wife. In fact, in live-in relationships or partners also, there is a need that says that this is my partner. Okay, so hands off everybody else. You know, this being is particularly mine. Both my spouse or my partner, as well as my child, my home. These things are very particularly mine. This aspect of possessiveness also is there in people for whom marriage is indicated. Then the fifth reason for marriage is security. Security in the sense that it's just nice to have somebody there. If you fall ill, there's somebody to call the doctor. You're not alone, you know. It's one of those convenient things to have if you are married. And another convenience, of course, is the protection that you get from a partner. If you have a partner, you live a settled life. You have a spouse, you live a settled life. You don't have other people making advances and bothering you and things like that. So this is another convenience of it. But these latter two are conveniences, and if you don't have the first four, one need not really get married for the latter two. So if each one of us has to kind of decide for ourselves, how much of this is there in our personality, and accordingly take the decision whether to marry or not.